guys! Welcome sa ating second part ng discussion sa Curvilinear translation or yung mas kilala sa tawag na projectile motion. So, basahin natin yung problem number 2. So, a projectile is fired with an initial velocity of 60 meter per second upward at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal from a point 80 meter above a level plane. So, what horizontal distance will it cover before it strikes the plane? Okay, so first, let's draw the figure muna, okay? So, ang sabi dyan, a projectile is fired. So, ayan. So, yung point kung saan ka nag-fire ng projectile is, sabi dyan, that is located 80 meter above a level plane. So, ang elevation niya dito, ayan, from this level plane, is equals to 80 meter. So, ang kanyang trajectory or yung angle niya is acting at 80 degrees with respect to sa horizontal and traveling with an initial velocity of 60 meter per second. So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Ayan. So, ang kanyang initial velocity is 60 meter per second and this is acting at an angle of 30 degrees. So, ang hinahanap is yung horizontal distance before it strikes the plane. So, gawa lang natin ito ng ayan, yung parabolic trajectory niya. So, let's just say na ito yung nire-required. So, i-denote ko na lang to as our sige, pangalanan natin siya as yung R natin. Ang R kasi ito level plane. So, paalang mali to. I-ano ko na lang to as X, okay? Ayan, so denote natin siya as X, okay? So, ito, yung Y component niya. So, sige, solve na lang natin separately para hindi nag-overlap. Ito, okay guys, so una, gamitin natin yung derived formula dito and then ipakita natin yung long solution. So, gagawin ko na lang siya dito hanggang sa second problem. Kasi kung dalawang method yung isosolve natin, hindi tayo makarami ng problem. So, sa susunod ng mga problem, yung shortcut method na lang. So, kayo na lang bahala mag-analyze yan using yung long solution. Okay? So, andyan naman yung mga final answer, palabasin nyo na lang. So, ang formula natin dito again is yung Y natin has a given formula na x tangent theta and then minus gx squared all over 2 initial velocity squared cosine squared theta. Okay? So again, yung iyong sign for the y and even yung gravitational acceleration will be based dun nga sa direction ng iyong initial velocity. So ito naka-minus na, so automatic minus na yan. So again, pataas yan. So since pataas and yung iyong displacement na y is pababa, so therefore, yung y mo dito will be negative 80. So equals to x of tangent theta na 30 degrees and then minus, kasi nga pataas and yung gravitational acceleration is pababa, g or that is 9.81 and then x squared all over 2 times the initial velocity na 60, so squared cosine squared 30. Okay, so pindutin lang natin siya sa calcu. So shift solve na lang. So nandito nga pala yung calcu natin. So that is negative 80 equals to x tangent 30 minus 9.81 x squared divided by 2 times 60 squared and then cosine 30 squared. So, lagyan lang natin ng positive value. So, let's just say na 200 siguro. Ano ba yun? 422. So, ayan. So, the answer is 422.1282. So, dali lang So, direct substitution lang. Ganyan lang kaikli yung solution. Okay, so analyze natin siya using yung long method. Okay, so again, this is just a combination of rectilinear translation at free-falling bodies. So, to solve for x, ang kailangan kasi natin dyan, is yung x is equals to yung x component ni velocity, which is equals lang sa 60 cosine 30. And then multiply yung time required para makapunta siya doon. So, again, yung time para makapunta doon is the same time para do sa projectile motion niya. So yung pagtaas niya dito, pagtaas, and yung pagbaba niya dun sa plane na ito. Okay, so since isa sila ng time, so ang mangyayari guys dito is mahati siya into separate na analysis. So ito, sabihin ko na lang, hatiin ko lang ganyan. So, ano ba? Okay. So first, mag-denote ako dito ng point. Ayan. So yung point na yan, let's say that is point A. So ito yung location kung saan ma-attain niya yung maximum height niya. Okay? So next point, ito. Ito yung point kung saan nag-level ulit yung coming from initial point. Ayan. They are on the same level. And then yung last point ko, let's just say na dito ko siya dadalhin. Ayan. Yung ka-level na niya yung plane. Okay? So, ano ba ang unahin natin? Sige, first, let's compute first for the value of this h. Okay? So again, ano nga yung property natin? Kapag na-reach na yung velocity niya dito, so ano yung velocity a, y? Ayan. When it reaches its maximum height. So, di ba alam natin yan na equals to 0. Okay? So, yung time para pumunta siya dito sa maximum height, and then yung time para bumalik siya doon sa point kung saan level na silang dalawa, di ba iisa yung time na yun? Okay? So, yung time para ma-reach niya yung maximum height is equals lang sa time para nung ma-reach niya yung maximum height hanggang marating niya yung ulit yung original level niya. And then, guys, yung velocity natin dito, okay, is the same velocity rin nung point na ito, which is 60, and then ito, this is equals lang sa BOX, and then ito, equals lang din siya sa BOY. Okay? So, sabi ito sa lecture, di ba? Alright, so, again, ang equation natin is ito, and then multiply by t, ito yung total time. So, ang total time niya na yan is yung time nga, nung marating niya yung maximum height, balik siya sa same level, and then hanggang marating niya yung ground. Okay, so, unahin muna ulit natin yung pagkuha ng h. Okay, so ano ba yung kailangan natin dyan? So, ilatag mo lang ulit yung mga formulas for the free fall. So, BF is equals to VO plus minus GT. And then yung H, sabihin na lang natin H or Y. So, that is VOT plus minus 1/2 of GT squared. And then, yung final velocity squared is equals to initial velocity squared. Then, plus minus 2GH. Okay, so, which of these formulas ba ang kailangan nating malaman? Okay, so I think there's no need to compute for h na. Kasi ang kailangan lang ulit natin dito is yung total time. From which yung total time is yun nga, yung ano. So ang gawin ko na lang, I will use this first formula. So knowing that yung final velocity niya or yung VAY mo is equals to 0. So that is equals to the initial velocity. So again, yung initial velocity dito is yung y component na ni ni 60. Okay? Kasi ano tayo? Free fall, vertical translation. So that is 60 sine 60, and then minus, kasi opposite direction, 9.81, and then denote ko na lang to as t. A. So ito yung time required. So sigurado ko ito ng O. So TOA. Or this is the time required to reach the maximum height coming from the point O, o yung reference point natin. So TOA. Ayan. So with that, may mahanap tayong value ng TOA from point O to A as, so 60 sine 60 so divided by 9.81, so that is 5.2968. 5.2968. So that is in seconds. Okay, so from which yung time coming from point A to point B, okay, so nung nasa top siya pabalik sa ka-level niya yung from point O, ayan, same sila ng level. So, equals lang siya dun sa TOA, which is 5.2968. Okay lang? Okay, next. So, this time, ito nga yung consider from point O to A to B. So, this time, we will now consider yung point B until it reaches yung point C. Okay, so ang initial velocity na i-consider natin dito is ito. Since pababa na rin siya, therefore, itong 80 mo, or yung height nung iyong pinagbatuhan, or yung elevation ng iyong level plane. And then, ayan, initial velocity is pababa. So, yung gravitational acceleration mo, since pababa yung initial velocity, so magiging positive na yung part na equation na to. Okay? So, ayun. So, since may pinag-uusapan tayong height, so ang gamitin natin is ito. Itong second equation. Ayan. So, lagyan rin natin ito para hindi nagkaalituhan. Alright, so h, which is 80, so positive na siya kasi pababa din yung initial velocity mo dito. So, point B to C tayo hindi na tayo from point O to C. So, what will be the, ano here? So, 80, hindi ko na sinusulat yung equation dito na lang ako tumitingin. Is equals to the initial velocity, so that is 60 sine 30, and then multiply by time, so ilat ko na lang to as time B when it reaches point C. So, BOT, so plus 1/2 of 9.81, so positive na nga ulit siya. Positive na siya ngayon since pababa na rin yung initial velocity mo. And then times T from B when it reaches C squared. Ayan, so shift solve lang natin. So, so 80, ito nga pala yung calculate natin, 60 sine 30 times x, and then plus 1/2 of 9.81 times x squared. Shift solve. Maglagay lang tayo ng positive value. Lagay tayo 5 siguro. Okay, so that is 2.0077. So, 2.0077 seconds. Okay. So, therefore, the total time required, yan, P total, so that is equals the time from point O to A plus time from point A to B. Medyo ang haba, no, compare dito. And then plus from point B to point C. So, pero pakita natin na pareho lang dapat yung lalabas dyan. So, 5.2968. So, pareho lang. Okay lang ba na times 2 ko na lang to? Ito lang din kasi yan. And then plus 2.0077. So, the total time is equals lang. So, plus 5.2968 times 2. So, 12.6013. 12.6013 seconds. So, to compute for x, ayan, pwede na natin itong gamitin itong equation na to. So, x will be equals lang sa 60 cosine 30 and then multiply by 12.6013. So, what is the value of your x? Wala daw value si x. 60 cosine 30. No. So, 50, ulitin ko lang may nagkamali na ako. So, 12.6013 times 60 cosine 30. 654. Check natin ulit yung time from point O to point A. May isa tayo nagkamali dito. So, ano nga yun? 83rd, 60. Alright guys, nakita ko na. Hindi nyo naman kasi sinabi na 60 yung naisulat. So, 60 sine 30. Okay, so dito siguro ako napatingin sa sa velocity. So, check lang ulit natin to, guys. Pasensya na. At least, meron tayong pan-checking. So, nakita natin na may mali doon sa ginawa. So, correct lang natin. So, that is 60. Hopefully, tumama na. Sine 30. Then divided by 9.81. So, that is 3.0581. 3.0581. So, 3.0581. Then ito, palitan lang din natin ito. And ito, mababago din. So, 3.0581. Ayan. So, times 2. And then plus 2.0077. So, this is 8.1239. 8.1239. Baguhin lang natin to. So, 8.1239. So, times 60 cosine 30. Chan-chararan. Alright. So, may konting decimal lang. So, surrounding off lang ito. Pero nakuha natin yung first 4 digits. So, 422.1306. So, kaunti na lang 1282 ito 1306. So sa decimal place lang naman yung nagkaroon ng discrepancy. Alright guys, so pili na lang kayo kung anong gusto nyong gawin dito. So ito ba na ito lang kasimple yung solution niya, or ito though manageable naman pero medyo mahaba and medyo matagal yung computation. Okay, ito kasi wala akong pattern nito. Sige guys, copy muna. I'll give you 3 minutes. Wala kasi akong pattern nito eh. Hindi ko yung paano tandaan to ng lagyan natin ng boundary. Parang elementary lang. Alright guys, so let's proceed with problem number 3. Okay, so for problem number 3, ayan, may given naman figure. So basahin natin. So determine the distance s at which a ball thrown with a velocity of v sub o of 100 feet per second at an angle of theta, which is arctangent of 3/4, will strike the inclined shown. So guys, yung distance na sinasabi dyan is yung inclined distance, or yung slope nito. Okay? So, lagyan lang natin ng trajectory. Nakalimutan ko lang yatang ilagay ito. So, let's just say na ganyan tatakbo yung iyong recta. So, ang pinapahanap guys is yung kahabaan na to. Yun yung S. Okay, so ano bang magandang gawin natin dito? Okay, so ang gamitin natin ulit yung formula kanina. So, yung formula for y, kung saan yung y is equals lang sa ito, x tangent theta minus gx squared over tvo squared cosine squared theta. So, equals to x tangent theta minus, hindi ko talaga sa gx squared all over 2po squared cosine squared theta. Ayan. Pero guys, we need to identify alin ba dyan yung y and alin yung i-consider natin na x. Okay, so for this problem, since yung motion path niya is pa ganito, ayan. So since ang point na to yung ina-analyze natin, therefore, ito, yung y na sinasabi dito sa equation na to is yung, gawa lang ulit ng ibang kulay na lang. So pag pinonject mo kasi siya dyan, ito yung dinidefine niyang y. Okay, so coming from this point, ayan yung trajectory hanggang dito. So pinataan niya. And then yung x is this one. Okay? So ano naman kung maano natin to? But guys, ang kailangan kasi natin gawin dito is i-relate yung y and x in terms of our s. Since given yung slope nung ano mo, yung inclined surface as 1, 3. So ano nga yung kapartner nito? Ito is square root of 10. And then ito, given yung kanyang angle 3/4, okay lang bang huwag na natin gamitin tong angle theta. So TOA, tangent opposite. So this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, so again, x component niya is equals lang sa 100 times 4 over 5. And then for the y component, so that is equals lang sa VOY 100 times 3 over 5. Pero hindi ko rin nga gagamitin to eh. Kasi ito na yung ating ano. Kailangan pala talagang kunin yung angle. Kasi naka ano. Okay, anyway. So, pindutin na lang natin. So, that is our tangent and 3/4. So, anong value niya? So, 36.8699. 8699. Alright, so meron na tayong angle. So, ang gawin natin, mag-ratio and proportion tayo. So, itong triangle na to, again, is equals lang dito sa slope na yan. So, 1/3 squared ng 10. Or, if you're going to relate, ito nga, so by ratio and proportion, y is to s, itong y is to s, is equals to 1 over square root ng 10. Is equals to 1 over square root ng 10. Therefore, yung value ng y is equals lang sa s all over square root of 10. And then, yung para sa x, so that is x all over s is equals to 3 over square root of 10. So, x can be computed as 3s all over square root ng 10. So, ano natin to s. Dahil lang s ko at 5, is itsura. So, ayan. So, kaya ako naalala kasi nagkamali ako na. Akala ko s5 pala. Alright, so yung mga values na nakuha natin dito, yung relationship ng y in terms of s, substitute lang natin siya dito para at least yung anong saan niya is yung s na. So, mahanap na natin yung sagot. Okay? So, substitute. Napakakulay ng ating solution. Substitute y and x in equation 1. Or our formula will now become, so ito nga, dalhin mo dun sa equation 1 natin. So our new equation will become, so y nga, so this is s all over square root of 10, and then equals to x na 3s all over square root of 10, and then tangent of theta na 36.8699, and then minus ang g. So feet per second, guys, bantayan ito mabuti. 32.2. So hindi na 9.81 eh. So madalas kasi puro SI tayo Pabigla 9.81 malagay natin dito. So yari tayo dyan. So 32.2 x na 3s all over square root ng 10 squared all over 2 times the velocity of 100 squared and then cosine ng 36.8699 squared theta. Alright, so we will have a value of s. So pindutin lang natin guys sa alq. Wait lang pala. So initial velocity is pataas. So ito nga is y. So guys, dapat ito is naka-minus ha. Kasi yung sukat natin is pababa. Nandito siya pataas. Yung y is pababa. So negative to. The rest naman is tama. So negative g. Okay. Ayan. So pindutin natin sa alq. So negative x divided by square root of 10. So 3 x divided by square root of 10, and then multiply by tangent of 36.8699, and then minus 32.2 times, so kailangan talaga tayo mag-quantity. So ito hindi naman bawal so pero limitahan lang para at least di bumagal yung calculate. So 3x divided by square root of 10. Pero madalas dapat times and divide lang. Squared tapos divide. So yung kabuuan. So 2 times 100 squared times cosine of 36.8699 squared and then close parenthesis. Shift solve tayo. So maglagay lang kayo ng any positive value. So tansyahin nyo na lang. Siguro 500. So 453.9363. 9363. Okay guys, so please copy the solution. So again, kayo nang bahala sa long solution para lang meron pa kasing dalawa yata o tatlong problem. Sige, I'll give you 2 minutes to copy. Okay guys, so let's proceed with problem number 3. Okay, so for problem number 4 na pala. So a projectile is fired from the tube mounted on the vehicle which is traveling at a constant speed of 30 kilometers per hour. The projectile leaves the tube with a velocity of 20 meters per second, neglecting air resistance. Determine the following. A. The distance traveled by the vehicle during the flight of the projectile, where the projectile will land on the vehicle at the tube location. Letter B. Determine the time of flight of the projectile until such time it will land back on the vehicle at the tube location. And letter C. Determine the maximum height that the projectile has traveled. So guys, medyo maganda tong problem na to. Kasi ang sinasabi dito, meron daw sasakyan. Okay? So yan yung sasakyan. So yung sasakyan na yan, may nakamount daw dito na sabihin na nating cannon. Ayan. So beetle to So yung velocity ng car mo, so yung car is traveling, so gagawin ko na lang B sub C. So the car is traveling at a constant speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Ayan. And then, nung tumatakbo siya, may pinutok siya dito or a projectile is fired from the vertical tube. So this is ayan. So vertically upward. So yung velocity ng projectile, so pangalanan na lang natin as P sub P. Velocity of 20 meter per second. So ito daw habang umaandar, ayan. So syempre guys, habang umaandar yan, ang mangyayari kasing case dito is, nung pagdating niya dito sa point na to, ito yung fun part dito So again, traveling pa rin at a constant velocity na 30 kilometer per hour. So nung nandito siya sa point na to, at a certain distance, yung projectile is bumalik ulit doon sa ano niya. Doon ulit pumasok. Ano? Okay, so since same level na rin naman yan, so ang velocity ng projectile niya dito, pagbalik niya dito is the same lang din, 20 meter per second. Okay, so ang hinahanap doon sa una, ano nga, distance traveled by the car. So ilat na lang natin to as x. Okay, so I think it's better if we convert first yung velocity ng car to meter per second. So ano nga yan? Divide nga ba ng 3.6 or multiply? So, mali pala. So, kilometer per hour. So, divide 3.6 nga. So, 1 hour, 3,600 seconds. And then, 1,000 meter per 1 kilometer. So, divide natin ng 3.6 nga pala na. So, 30 divided by 3.6. So, that is equals to 8.3333. So, paltan na natin guys ha. Ano yung fraction? 25 over 3. So, 25 over 3. 25 over 3. Ba't di ko pa pinawi ito? So, this is now in meter per second. Okay? So guys, kasi anong nangyari dito is parang projectile din naman. Ano? So, ito naman, pag pinagsama mo, is makaka-form pa rin naman siya ng parang resultant force niya. So, sabihin natin na paganyan niya siya. Parang paganito pa rin naman yung travel niya. Okay, so, ano ba ang magiging velocity na to? So, this is just equals lang sa Vp squared plus yung velocity ng car squared. And then yung angle na yan, this one, so that is equals lang sa theta. And yung theta mo can be computed as arctangent ng opposite na 20 all over 25 over 3. Okay, so check natin what's the value of our velocity, the total velocity. So that is just square root of 20 squared plus 25 divided by 3 squared. So 65 over 3 meter per second. And for the angle theta, so that is equals lang sa arctangent of 20 divided by 25 by 3. So 67.3801 degrees. Okay, so guys, gagamitin ulit natin yung derived formula para sa anya. Again, yung y nga is equals to x tangent theta minus gx squared all over 2bo squared cosine squared theta. Check ko lang ha. X tangent theta gx squared. Ayan, so medyo na sasaulo ko na. Alright. So guys, if we're going to analyze this from this point up to this point, so yung displacement in terms of y niya will be equals to 0 kasi pantay na ulit siya di ba? So itong y dito, so this is equals to 0. And then equals to x, again yung x nga yung hinahanap natin dito, multiply by tangent, tangent of 67.3801. So minus gx squared, so ano ba to? Meter per second, so 9.81 times x squared all over 2bo squared. So yung velocity na gagamitin guys dito sa formula na to is ito yung nakuha natin 65 over 3. So hindi itong Vp or yung y kasi ginagamit mo lang siya kapag yung free fall or yung hati-hati yung kino-consider natin. Same as dun sa x, ano? So kung hindi naman siya yung long method, yung velocity na gagamitin mo dito is yung naka-inclined. So 2VO, so again what is VO? 65 over 3 squared, and then cosine squared of 67.3801. So what will be the value of x? So again, this is for letter A. So ilipat ko lang. So x, alpha, ano ba? So x na lang. Transpose ko yung ano sa kabila ha. So, x tangent of 67.3801. So, equals, etong side na to, lipat ko lang sa kabila. So, 9.81 x squared. And then divided by quantity of 2 times 65 divided 3 squared. And then cosine of 67.3801 squared. Shift, solve. And lagay ka lang ng value, 200. So 33.979. 33.9790 meters. Okay, so that is the answer for letter A. Next, for letter B. Ano sunod na tinatanong? Determine the time of flight of the projectile until such time it will land back to the vehicle at the tube location. So again guys, under the projectile motion, di ba nung nag-travel siya ng, bawasan ko lang to ng konti napahaba. So lagay ko lang yung trajectory niyan. Oops, dito nga pala shoot. Shoot nga pala sa butas. Ayan. Okay, so yung time na ma-reach na ito, pabalik dito, is equals lang din sa time na marating niya yung point na yan. So what I'm saying here is, though ang sinasabi dito is yung time of flight, so hindi na naman natin kailangan na yung i-compute yung hanggang ma-reach na yung top, tapos yun din yung time para ma-reach na yung bottom. So hahaba pa ang usapan. So ang gawin na lang natin is in terms of dito, yung x, yung displacement niya, or yung distance traveled na x. So sana alam natin na kapag x component yung pinag-uusapan, constant lang yung velocity niyan. Either at this point, initial point, dito sa bandang gitna, or kahit saan dyan, along the x-axis, iisa yung velocity natin. So if that is the case, di ba yung x is equals lang do sa VOX, or for this example, yung VC, times yung time. Ito yung total time ng iyong projectile. Okay, so again, yung time na to is equals lang do sa time na yun. So, eto, na-compute naman natin kanina. So that is 33.9790 is equals do sa velocity ng C na 25 all over 3 and then multiply by the total time. So the total time traveled is equals lang sa times 3 then divided by 25. So that is 4.0775. 4.0775 seconds. And last, for the C, determine the maximum height that the projectile has traveled. So again, ano yung ba magandang gamitin doon? Alam natin na ang final velocity niya kapag na-reach yung maximum height is 0. Determine the maximum height, 2g. Okay. So gawin natin yung ano lang, yung botox. So VF squared is equals to VO squared. Then plus minus 2g, so yung h. Or ito. Ayan. So knowing na itong itong velocity niya dito when it reaches maximum height is 0. And then yung VO dito guys, since ito is a component or yung free fall yung equation na ginagamit natin. So yung VO dito is yung VOY, okay? Or yung V sub P or yung velocity ng iyong projectile which is fired vertically upward, vertical tube. So that will be sige, green na lang tayo. So that is 0 is equals to ano nga to? 22 no? So 20 squared and then pataas, so labag sa direction 2 times 9.81 times h. So the maximum height is equals lang sa 20 squared divided by 19.62, or that is equals to 20.3874 meters. Alright guys, again I'll give you 3 minutes to copy this solution. So you may start copying. Okay guys, so let's proceed with the next problem. Okay guys, let's proceed with problem number 5. So a long-range artillery rifle at point A is aimed at an angle of 45 degrees with the horizontal. And its shell is just able to clear the mountain peak at the top of its trajectory. So yung maximum height niya daw is ito, and na-clear niya lang daw yung mountain peak. So sakto-sakto lang. So for letter A, determine the magnitude of its muzzle velocity or yung initial velocity dito, hinahanap. Determine the height of the mountain above sea level. So above sea level, so ito yung reference point natin. And letter C, determine the range R to the sea level. Okay, so ang hinahanap most probably is from point A to point C. So guys, i-ano lang natin yung mga given pa. So itong elevation 600 meters. So this is the elevation above sea level. Okay, so ang ibig sabihin niyan, if you are going to project a line here, and for this one, ito yung tinutukoy na 600 meters. Okay, so guys, ito ilat na lang natin to as h, or yung maximum height nung iyong projectile. Okay? And then ito siguro, ilat ko na lang siya as distance x. So nagbigay siya ng distance ng point A to point B, which is equals to 8 km. Again, ang hinahanap dito is yung initial velocity ng muzzle. So how can we solve for that one? Okay, so since nagbigay siya dito ng given na 8 km, so most probably gagamitin natin siya para makakuha tayo ng equation in terms of time na relate si initial velocity. So gagamitin natin is yung ano nga lang, ito, kung saan di ba alam natin na along the x-axis constant lang yung velocity mo, wala kang acceleration. So again, this is 8 kilometers. So ito, kunin na natin yung kanyang x component, VOX, and then ito as VO sub y. So S, ito, iset ko na lang to as S. So yung S mo is equals to VOX multiplied by the time, T. So again, yung time required para ma-reach na yung point na to. So yung distance na 8 kilometers is the distance between the peak or yung maximum height ng iyong projectile hanggang sa initial point or yung point A. So ito yung from time from A to B. Okay, so knowing that this is, convert na natin to meters, so that is 8,000 meter is equals to VO, so cosine 45 times the time from A to B. So if we're going to solve for the time T, so in T from A to B, so that is equals lang sa 8,000 all over cosine 45. So let's name this as our equation 1. Next, ano ba sunod natin gagamitin dito? 600 meters. Okay, so since meron na tayong equation for the time t, ano ba yung y? Hindi. So kuha tayo ng value ng h. Ano? So ang gagawin natin dito yung baak-baak method na kasi magkaiba yung elevation and maraming unknown. So yung h mo, ayan, knowing na yung velocity niya dito at point na to is 0. Okay, so yung 0 yung velocity niya when it reaches its peak height. So BOT. Ay, kulang pa pala to. B sub O pa to. Okay. So ilatag muna ulit natin yung formulas para at least hindi tayo nalilito. So H is equals to VOT plus minus 1/2 of GT squared. So final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus minus GT. And then yung BF squared is equals to VO squared plus minus 2GH. So wala nga si initial. So final. Eto. gamitin natin tong equation na to, yung third equation. Okay, so the final velocity, again, knowing na yung final velocity niya dito sa point na to is equals to 0, yung y component. So equals to VOY, or that is VO multiplied by sine 45, and then pataas, so minus, ano ba to? English. So SI, so 9.81 times yung T, which is equals to yung equation 1. Substitute lang natin. So 8,000 all over VO cosine 45. Ayan. So we will have a value for V sub O. Transpose lang natin. Or ship solve lang natin para mas mabilis. So our equation is X sine 45 is equals to 9.81 times 8,000 then divided by X cosine 45. So shit, solve. Lagyan natin positive value. So 396 0.1818. So meter per second. Medyo mabilis kasi ano nga siya eh. Bahala siya eh, rifle. So this is the answer for letter A. And then for letter B, determine the height of the mountain above sea level. Above sea level. So ang gagawin natin, once we compute for H, i-add natin yung 600. Kasi ang inaantanong dito is above sea level eh. Okay, so or yung elevation niya. So to compute for letter B, we need to solve for H. Okay? And from this formula, since may makukuha na kasi tayong time eh. Tama? From A to B. So substitute lang natin yung value ng initial velocity na 396, or that will be, sige, diretso na lang natin. Ayan. So 8,000 divided by the answer divided by cosine 45. So that is 28.5569 seconds. Okay? So with that, gamitin natin itong ano. Pwede rin pala yung second equation. Anyway, kinuha ko na rin naman yung time. So gamitin na lang natin yung mas mahaba. So H is equals to 396. So since guys, pinag-uusapan dito is yung ano nga, free falling. So yung BO dito is yung BY. Or that is 396.1818. So sine 45 and then multiply by the time na 28.5569. So minus, ito na sa baba, minus 1/2 of 9.81 times 28.5569 squared. So the value of H is equals to, so 396.1818 sine 45 times 28.5569 minus 1/2 times 9.81 times 28.5569 squared. So the height of the mountain is 4,000.00. Siguro ano na lang natin, i-round off na lang natin at 4,000. Okay, so with respect to sa sea level, so yung elevation niya, elevation of mountain above sea level. Above sea level. So that is plus 4,600 or that is 4,600. Ayan. And last, ano ba yung hinahanap sa letter C? To determine the range R to the sea level. So, ano yung kanyang range na ito? Okay, so I think pwede natin gamitin yung formula na kasi pababa na to eh. So y is equals to x tangent theta minus gx squared all over 2bo squared cosine squared theta. From which yung gagamitin natin na y dito is itong 600. Okay? Kasi yung point C mo is 600 below point A. So, initial velocity. So, pababa. Ang initial velocity mo pataas. So, ito is minus. Tapos, ganun din yung kaya negative. Okay. So, sige, substitute na lang natin dito. So, negative 600 is equals to x, yun yung hinahanap, of tangent theta na 45 degrees. And then minus 9.81 times x squared all over 2 times the velocity, initial velocity na 396.1818 squared cosine squared 45 degrees. So what will be the value of our x? So pindutin lang natin sa ALQ. So negative 600. Then x, so tangent 45. So minus 9.81. Then x squared divided by 2. So ano na natin sa parentheses, divided by 2 times 396.1818 squared times cosine 45 squared. Okay guys, so mag-shift solve tayo. So shift solve. So maglagay ka ng value, lagay ka ng any positive value. So let's just say na 500. Oh. But negative. Wait lang ha. So kaya tayo nagkamali dito. Okay, naka-squared. So kapag squared guys, it's possible na yung isang value is 0, isa ay negative, or isa ay negative tapos isa ay positive. So try ulit natin maglagay ng ibang value dito. Kasi yung 500, maaaring mas malapit siya doon sa negative value niya. So, maaaring yung value niya is 1,000 pataas. So, lagay tayo siguro na 5,000. Negative pa din. Shift solve 8,000. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo guys, kaya ako nilalakihan yung value. Ang bilis kasi ng velocity ng mo ng rifle, yung bullet. So, malayo talaga yung mararating ng niya. Bala. So, try ulit natin. $10,000. Ayan. So, the answer is layo, 16 kilometers. 16 579.0461 0461 meters. Ayan. So this is the answer for letter C. Alright guys, so I'll give you 3 minutes to copy. Okay guys, so that ends our video lecture for this topic na curvilinear translation. So see you on our next topic. Peace out.